Yo, yo, yo. What's up, y'all? What's up? Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. No, I'm just kidding. I've been doing this for like 30 days straight now. So I think we got a little bit of an idea of what's going on here. So I got like a light report ready for you guys here. Man, we're about to get into a hell of a week. This week is going to be interesting. You're going to be able to, like, you could make a lot of money this week, or you could be, focused and still making money. But I still want to share this stuff with you because this is the stuff that I like to look at in the mornings. This is my daily routine. All right, so hold on for a second. Just make sure I'm on all this. Oh, and I want to open this up by, bro. I had a call today with a small group that I've been mentoring, and we were just breaking down one of my guys' spreadsheets, his business pro forma, and I would share it if I would have asked him permission to, but I can't share. That's personal information. But when I tell you this man, he alone, he's in Arizona and he owns 5 barbershops, and they're commissioned. And you know how it is, bro. Like in life, there's gonna be a million things going on in your head, a million opportunities in front of you, or you're trying to figure out how to get to the next level. And when I tell you this guy's story inspired everybody in the room because these are heavy hitters. This small, it's 7 people, and I think the least amount made there is like 20 some thousand a month, probably, maybe a little bit less, but it goes from like 20,000 to like 70, 80,000 a month that these guys are making, and they're all barbers or stylists. And some of them are doing it just like from the chair, some are doing it with their businesses. But one of these guys, he's trying to figure out what his next moves are because there's a lot of opportunities in front of you. And when you get to a certain level, you got to learn when to say no. You can't say yes to everybody. You're one person. That's why you got to think bigger, right? And that's why you got to understand you need a team. But this, there was so many ideas and so many opportunities in front of him that he was bringing to me every single week that we got on a call. And it was all amazing. And then he sends me a spreadsheet. He finally does his business case and his business tracking with our spreadsheet that we gave him. And when I tell you, he's killing it. He's got 5 locations currently. Between the 5 locations, I think he was making like 40,000 a month just from his shops. And he makes 6 figures behind the chair too. But just from his shops, he was making like 40,000 a month. And we start doing the math, and if we just add 2 more barbers or 3 more barbers at each location, and we make sure every barber there is making money, is making as much money as they can as individuals, if we can do that, he'll be at $80,000 a month. But here he is distracted by all these opportunities, day trading, drop shipping, YouTube videos, selling sneakers, flipping this, betting apps, gambling and shit. Like there's so many things like squirrels, but other opportunities. Go to the military. And sometimes you don't realize the blessing that's sitting right in front of you. And we overlook it. And so we pass up on $20 bills to pick up pennies. And just looking at that, I said, bro, how much time you think if you just focus 100% of your time on this, you already know how to do this. It's low hanging fruit. If you just focus on it, you think in a year you can max out your chairs? He said, yeah, probably. So if he maxed out all his chairs, he'd probably be at 100,000 a month. He'd go from 40 to 100,000 a month in a year. Why are we paying attention to anything else? You already know how to do this. It's just work and consistency and not getting distracted. And at every level, that's all it takes to get to the next level. But we want to skip those things. We want to skip the side quest and get straight to the next level. But if we skip the side quest, we ain't going to be ready for the next level. We're going to be at a disadvantage at the next level. We might go bankrupt at the next level, right? So anyways, I wanted to share that story, man, because it was so inspiring to everybody in that group. And to me myself, man, I had to check myself like, yo, am I doing the same thing? Just doing that exercise with him made me want to self-reflect and see what $20 bills am I stepping over? And I'm sure there's people who will look at my life and say, I could see them, but it's hard to see them when you're in the business so deep. You know what I mean? You need that outside perspective. That seems like common sense, like a no-brainer. And when y'all tell me, I'm gonna be like, damn, you right. Here I am doing this, doing that, man. Boom, paradigm shift, right? Cool. All right, but we've also been talking a lot about investing. And I want to show you, for those of you guys who are new to my lives, who are on here new to my lives, I want to show you guys this real quick. I'm gonna show y'all. I started a new account this year on Fidelity, and I'm gonna show y'all. Some of these numbers real quick because I think it's insightful. People don't really show you their brokerage accounts, right? And so I'm gonna show you one that I started in January and show you how it's performing right now. And I don't claim to be like this mastermind, right? But for some reason, the last 15 years, I've been really good at making money, and this is not make or break for me. So that might be an advantage that I have. All right. So if you look at my screen right now, this is my iPad. Um, this is year to date. Year to date. So I started out. If you look at the chart here, I started out with. Is this it? Why does that shit say 20 still? Hold on. That looks better. Okay. What the heck? Maybe I can find it somewhere else. Hold on one second. Oh, that's why. So this Fidelity account has my kids' Roth, both of their Roth accounts, but I also have an M1. I also have a Robinhood. I love all of them, but I won't use those for options. And so this account specifically is for options. Okay. So you guys can see I deposited in December $9,000. No, you can't see that. Hold on. Sorry, you can see it now. I deposited $9,000 December 31st. Okay. And every week I put another 1,000 in. So you guys can see every uptick that you see here, it's the same pattern. It's just me putting 1,000 in, 1,000 in, 1,000 in. And then when I get to 20,000, that's when I was approved for the level 3 options trading account. And that's where things start to get really bumpy, right? Because I start trading options and I go from $20,000 March 13th to $27,000 March 25th. That's like an $8,000 gain. You guys see that? In 3 weeks. And then, I'm trying to, I got into some more trades. I'm just waiting for them to expire, to mature. And then what do I get hit with right here? I get hit with the trade war, the tariffs. And my shit drops from 27,000 to 19,000 within a week, April 4th. But you know what I know? I know a lot about business. I'm in the business. I'm importing and exporting stuff. Like I get to see what's going on with shit. I buy shipping containers. I see the prices. When before the pandemic, pre-pandemic, shipping containers were $6,000. They jumped up to $26,000. I said, oh yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of hurt here, but that's gonna be a hell of a buying opportunity. And it did hurt. It scared everybody. But what happened? If you would have been locking in during the pandemic, a lot of people became millionaires and you missed out on that wave. So I saw this with the tariffs and the tweets and the shit that Trump was doing. But that's the only reason why all these stocks were down 30%, 40%, 20%. It was because of a tweet. Because if you look at their financials and you look at their projections, and then, it was scary for the first few days because everybody was scared of like the tariffs and stuff. But then people were finding loopholes. And people were like, saw the cutoff date and they shipped out enough product on airplanes and however they could before those tariffs came out. And, if they shipped out ships are it wouldn't make it because it takes like 30 days. But if they do planes, they could have made it before the cutoff. And what did Apple do? All these big gas companies did that. And so I'm like, man, this is only gonna hurt for like a week. And it's gonna be like a trailing week. And it's gonna be a 30-day thing, and it's not gonna really affect us till June, July. So I just started buying like crazy. I started buying like crazy. And I went from $19,000 in my account April 8th to May May 19th. That's 5 weeks from $19,000 to $42,000, guys. This is a new account. This account is 5 months old, and there's 42,000 in it, right? And so all I've been doing is selling puts in this market, but I also know when to adjust, when to change. And so I wanted to show you guys this real quick. And then we're gonna go into my reports, and I'm gonna, walk you through what the future looks like every day, what we're looking at, and you can make decisions based on this. I already have a course, that you guys could take right now to learn this, what I'm doing, and then every day, just check out the YouTube channel, and I'm gonna update y'all on this, because I'm gonna do it anyway. Anyways, I might as well stream it, right? All right, so I want to show you guys, this is realized gains, okay? This is this month. So from May 1st to May 26th, okay? I've made $6,280 just from options. And these are each of my trades. So I did TSM, I did Tesla, SoFi. These are all puts that I sold. I collected the premiums on this. This is realized cash. I could withdraw this right now. And I'm not done with this month. I'm hoping to close a couple more trades by the end of the month. So this could turn into $10,000. We'll see June 1st, what this number looks like. Either it might grow, or, I might have to roll some puts. I might have to, whatever it may be. But that's what I've done this month alone. So if I could consistently do this, and I won't. There's gonna be months where it'll be $2,000. There might be months where it's negative. I don't know. But I do think by the end of the year, I'll do amazing numbers. Amazing numbers. And you guys can't even see my screen. This is the screen that I'm talking about. So $6,280 this month so far, and you can see every single trade that I've done here. And it's easy stuff, bro. It's literally just paying attention to what's going on in the world. Anyways, when there's trade wars, when there's tariffs, when there's a new president, guys, I own an accounting firm. I have to pay attention to this stuff. When there's a tax bill being passed, we are watching it like hawks because it's my business. And people say, oh, you just a barber, you're talking about, bro, I own an accounting firm with 340 clients and 24 employees. And I don't do shit in there. There are professionals in there doing everything. And we have an amazing CEO, but I still like to add value if I can pay attention to what's going on and have that conversation, and they can reach out, and they need mentorship or whatever it may be. I want to be there to be able to speak their language. So I have to pay attention to this stuff. And so why not make some money while we're doing it, right? All right, cool. So there's that. Let's get into the conversation. Real quick, I wanted to, I always want to start these lives with a daily devotional. So if you guys don't mind, even if you're not religious, bear with me. I think no matter what, you'll gain some knowledge from this, whether you're religious or not. I happen to be. So with that being said, let's get into some scripture. Let the little children come to me, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. Mark chapter 10, verse 14. Let the little children come to me, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. So reflection is that Jesus invites us to approach him like children with trust, peace, and surrender. For, he's our Father. Today, resist the urge to control every outcome in your business or portfolio. Instead, lead with discipline, stay present, and let your decisions be grounded in purpose, not pressure. That's something, bro, that changed my life. Because I used to get a lot of anxiety, with my businesses, thinking about, I would lose sleep thinking about what could hurt the business, what could make the empire crumble, because a lot of people depend on us. It's not just my family no more. There's hundreds of families that depend on us. And so I used to lose sleep at that. And when I realized this, it's not up to me, it's up to God. I just got to show up. I just got to be present, and I just got to be led by purpose. I got to show up with discipline, with the right heart in place, and God got the rest. That took so like I my anxiety was healed at that moment. It's crazy. So anyways, I wanted to start the conversation off with that. But now let's get into investing. So it's interesting because a lot of times when you're doing the type of investing that I do, which is selling puts and investing the premiums into some type of stock or an index, something that's stable. I just want to try to beat the S&P, which you really can't. So I'll do QQQ and the S&P 500 to get a little bit of an edge on beating it. I don't want too much more growth, but I do love that stability. So I do 50-50 QQQ, which is the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500. And I pay attention to what's going on with that. So if you look at my screen, you'll see the S&P 500, the futures, the pre-market, it's up right now. It's green. That's a great sign. The QQQ, same thing. It's green. That means probably tomorrow morning we're gonna start off green. The likeliness is that we'll start off green. That doesn't mean it's gonna stay green. It can go red real quick, or it can go red all day, go back to green. Or we've seen it be red all day and at the very end go green. A lot of times though, you can feel it, you can sense it. You know what I mean? You can feel that momentum, but you can also look at charts and indicators and all that stuff, and we'll do that stuff too. But that's not very important. I don't want this to be like a job. This needs to be fun, bro. At the end of the day, and I know people will be like, nah, this is serious. It's money. No, bro, because we're gonna be conservative. We want to be the casino. We're gonna lose some, bro, but we're in this for the long term. So in the long term, we know we're going to win, right? I'm not trying to snipe, bro. I got a life to live. I ain't no sniper. I can't be watching shit all day. You know what I mean? So if this is not for you, do not. None of this is financial advice. All right, this is just my style, and I just give you guys my logic behind my style. And I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not young, but I've done very well in my life with the mindset that I try to share with you guys as we're doing this. And so it's looking good. Now, we know that when bonds go up, when the rates go up, that hurts growth stocks. And bonds, sure, they've gone down from their previous, but they're still really up. And so the sentiment right now is risk off, which means people are buying bonds rather than buying stocks. Okay. When that happens, that takes away liquidity from the stock market. And it means people are uncertain about the stock market. For us, we just need to find a good floor where we can enter, or just enter now and just have a really low strike price, right? Make sure you have a good margin of safety is what I'm saying. Now, some of the shit that I'm talking about right now, guys, it might be going over your head, but I want you to know that that's normal. That's totally fine. It's like growing up, you learn, let's say your first language is Spanish. It's because that's all you would listen to. That's all you would hear, right? But then, there comes a certain age, and esto lo que me pasó a mí. When I was younger, my first languages was Spanish. My dad didn't speak English. My grandmother didn't speak English, and that was my household. And my mom she could speak English, but she only spoke Spanish at the house. And so I would communicate with them like that. But, I stopped speaking Spanish for a very long time. And my shit is jacked now. I ain't gonna lie. As weird as that sounds, bro, I got cousins that were born in Puerto Rico and lost their Spanish because they moved here as kids. But their first language was Spanish. So it's kind of the same thing with stocks, bro. If you pay attention long enough, you're going to figure this shit out. If you play 2K and you've never played basketball before, you're going to figure out the rules and probably be better than a basketball player who plays 2K, So same thing with this stuff, man. Just tune in. I'm gonna try to make this as fun as possible. You know, it for me, it's like sports, bro. It's like basketball. It's like football. I could talk about this in the shop all day, and I would love barbershops to talk about this more often because, bro, this is life changing stuff, guys. This makes an even playing field for anyone, no matter what you look like, no matter what your upbringing was, no matter how much money you have. Learning this stuff is the game changer because I could give you $1 million right now and say, I need you to double this by the end of the year or you lose all of it. And it has to be legal. What's the game plan? I know mine's, but I also have done it. I prepared for it. This is why people with experience get, get the the best, the most opportunities. And so, yeah, man, all this information is so important, man. We should be talking about this shit like we talk about sports. All right. So the top financial headlines for today was huge. All right. And I was kind of excited about the stock market because, I have some puts right now. I have some options that are open where I'm down 60%. But I'm thinking to myself, if this was to expire today, I would cash out 100% of my premium. And so that we just got rocked with 50% EU, and my puts are still gonna sell. They're still gonna make money. I'm not really worried. And then we get this news that Trump delays the 50% EU tariffs. This is why I like the 30-day, 45-day expiration dates on options because it's flexible, man. Now, theta decay plays into my favor. And so I'm gonna make $1,000 on just because of this right here, this news right here. Bro, I don't even care. I don't even have a political. I am in the center as probably center it gets. Nah, I'm more conservative because I'm a Christian, but socially I'm also, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know what I mean. I feel like that's most people, most reasonable people. And so, you know, but we've learned what Trump is like and what his likeliness is. He talks a big game and but he's also not stupid, bro. He talks a good game, and it might make him look stupid to some people, but that's just, bro. That's like the guy who you play basketball against and be talking, but that's just part of his game. You know what I'm saying? You mute that shit out your head because that's just him. That's just part of his game. That's how he beats you. Is he wants you to play that game and get out of your head? You can't do that. Like that's just his style. And so I could make money because I'm reasonable. You can't be emotional with this stuff. Okay. The VIX remains 20, which says uncertainty. Look at that. We're getting some patterns here. So the first thing that screamed uncertainty was what? It was the bond rates going up and staying there, right? And now the VIX is telling us there's uncertainty. So you start to see little patterns and it gives you more conviction. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than doing your research before a game. Speaking of which, Oklahoma OKC's playing, right? OKC's on tonight. All right, so tomorrow I'm gonna review my positions. The market wasn't open today, but typically what I'm gonna do every day is review my positions. I'll share with you guys what they look like, what I'm thinking. And part of this is also because I want to help my loved ones. I want my friends to learn how to do this stuff too. Because, man, times are changing. It's becoming so easy to make money in the stock market now with all these tools. With Chat GPT, I ain't got to do all these stupid line charts and shit, man, that I was doing when I was trying to learn Forex. Hated that shit, man. They make this so much easier. So deep dive focus. So every day is gonna be a different deep dive focus. So it might be a certain company, it might be a certain topic we need to learn more about, but we're gonna focus on something every single day of the week. And so the focus now is gonna be studying NVIDIA. All right. So before we do that, I want to see this video about Trump with him agreeing to delay tariffs on the European Union. I want to hear I want to learn a little bit more of it. And all it takes is watching a 10-minute video. And then you'll feel like an expert on the topic and you'll have an idea of where the market's probably going to go long term, right? You're just trying to, and really, you don't even know long term. Anything can happen. That's why I like 30-day increments, right? So watching the news every day helps me be flexible with my trades. And they're 30 days, they're long term. I can't be on this motherfucker doing day trading. Excuse my language. I can't be day trading. So, anyways, let's check this out. What this is about with tariffs. That way, we have a little bit more conviction. Let's check it out.
All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. We are just watching as President Trump returning from New Jersey to Washington, D.C. on this Memorial Day weekend, and he spoke to reporters, the cameras there for just a little bit, talking about tariffs, saying he spoke with the European Union, also about the recent attacks by Russia in Ukraine, is saying what he's seeing is that, quote, Putin is killing a lot of people. I don't like it at all. Let's listen in to the president here on Live Now from Fox as he boards Air Force One.
All right, so look.
Done a lot of good work over the...
Look, if I was in the barbershop tomorrow, bro, this is what I would be talking about right here. Yeah, y'all been seeing what's going on with your barbers might not know shit about this, but I guarantee you have a client that knows his stuff. And I would be like, might have been in the military, might have been real high in the military, knows his stuff. And you just get his insight. And then there might be somebody who ran the campaign for the mayor, you know what I mean, that sits in your chair. And you just bring it up like, bro, all this shit that's been going on this week, what do you make of it, man? What do you think's going on? And they're going to tell you, man, I don't like what's going on with Israel continuing to bomb Palestine. I don't understand why. I see Trump he's starting to distance himself, but he's not speaking up the same way he's speaking up against Putin right now. Or is he? Maybe maybe I missed it. So then right now I would ask him, bro, is he stepping up for Israel the same, or for Palestine the same way he is for Ukraine? Oh, the situations, boom, boom, boom. And then I will have a different perspective. But I might also get an idea of, where this country is kind of leaning, where it's going. And there's things that I won't invest in. You don't think, like, if Andorra was to go to IPO, you don't think they would make, like, that would be a hell of a investment? Of course. Or let's say United Healthcare. That's an easy buy. It's an easy buy. Easy buy. I would be looking to sell puts on that and just make premiums every single month for the next year, probably. Easy buy. But I don't like, there's something about owning, making money off of companies like that. And it's not even about the whole, I'm not woke like that, but I just don't like the system because I don't like the business model. I feel like if the majority of your customers feel like you're taking advantage of them, that's not a business I want to invest in. That's more like a monopoly. There's so many laws that keep them propped up, and it's because they spend so much money lobbying, right? And I just don't rock with it. So I love that Trump is putting into law that they have to match whatever the cheapest prices that they sell to any other country, the pharmaceutical companies. And I love that, like our governor here in Florida, he's trying to get rid of property taxes, and he's trying to regulate insurance. People don't like capitalism or all that stuff, but there is socialism in that, right? Like, and I just feel like all these terms are stupid. It's just common sense, in my opinion. It's just common sense. And there's going to be things that I overlook because they don't affect me the same way it affects somebody else. But if there's enough people screaming, letting us know this feels fucked up, we should probably look into it. You know what I mean? Even if it don't affect us. So But anyways, you can always find opportunities for investments, guys. Yo, Nvidia's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. If you've looked at, if you look socially, there's a few things. First off, everybody believes in AI, right? Right? Socially, in the barbershop, you got plumbers, doctors, everyone talking about AI. And 50% of those people know who NVIDIA is. And you think to yourself, that's probably a bad sign. Yeah, have you invested in their stock? Nah. Have you invested in their stock? Nah. Have you invested in their stock? Nah. No, everybody knows it, but nobody's buying the stock. There's a difference between somebody saying, yo, you should invest in NVIDIA. No, everybody knows about NVIDIA and the robots and the AI, right? And people might not know NVIDIA, but they know AI and they know the robots. And you got regular people using ChatGPT now. Google's starting to lose market share. Bro, we know NVIDIA's got, but that's 10 years out where it's going to really change the world, like on a whole nother level. You could just, like, real talk, if you see the financials are good on this company, you could make money the rest of your life, cash flow, like passive income, just riding the wave of NVIDIA. And the way you do that is by selling puts, okay? And so this is kind of, I want to show you guys a video about selling puts, but I want to show you guys what I mean by that real quick. So if you look at my screen, this is me selling puts, okay? So pretty much what selling a put is, when someone buys a put, it's like them buying insurance. You ever heard of a hedge fund? Okay. Well, investors, if they bought NVIDIA, right, but they think NVIDIA is going to come crashing, but they don't want to sell it because they bought NVIDIA here. They know it's going to keep going up. It just looks like this, right? And so they feel that NVIDIA is going to come crashing. And so what they'll do is they'll buy insurance. So as it's dropping, they still make money, right? And what they do is they buy a put, okay? But some people will buy a put. Let's say right now the share is at $120, and they think it's going to go down to, they're scared that if it goes down to $100 or lower, they want to be able to cover their asses. But if it never goes below $100, guess what? You get paid. Except you get paid either way because you have to pay your insurance no matter what. You just don't have to cover the cost. Hopefully I didn't lose you. I probably did. So I'm not even gonna try to be honest with you, I ain't even gonna try to explain that. Go study options and go study my course. I go over all this with it. The course is free, guys. It's on my YouTube channel. So if you go to, let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on. Literally, just go on my YouTube channel, Basio Stock Investing Course. It's free on YouTube. All right. I teach you all this shit. It's not that hard, I promise. Okay. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, this person paid me $256 for this insurance. They paid me for this insurance. They paid me for this insurance. I'm just choosing prices that are very low in likeliness to go there, especially if I know my shit, if I do my due diligence, right? And what if I do have to cover their losses? What's the worst thing that could happen? Well, I still get paid the $650, but then I have to buy their stocks at whatever price I chose, okay? And so what we do is we choose companies that we would love to buy at a fair price. We just think it's overbought right now. We just think it's too expensive right now, right? So when a stock starts coming down, that's if you, like, I don't want to be assigned the shares, don't get me wrong. But worst case scenario, if I do get assigned at a certain price, I'm good with that. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to try to explain this. All right. So imagine here's a stock. Let's use Nvidia, right? We're going to use Nvidia. And I don't know the stock price of Nvidia right now, but let's just use $100 for easy math. Okay. I'm going to sell somebody insurance that if it drops to $80, I will buy it. Guaranteed. Okay. Now, this stock might drop to 60. I got to buy it at 80, which means I'm in the hole because it's only worth 60. But the reason I would do that is because I believe Nvidia is not worth $100, but it's probably worth $80. And I'm okay with holding Nvidia long term because I'm a long-term investor. I just want to make cash flow every month while I'm investing long term. And so someone is willing, because this is insurance to somebody, they're willing to pay you, let's say, $1,000 for that insurance because it's for 100 shares. Okay. And so you collect this as a premium. If it goes below this 80 mark, you have to buy the shares from them, but you still collect $1,000. You make $1,000 no matter what. You're paid up front. Okay. If it stays above the 80 mark, then you don't have to buy the shares and you collect $1,000 and you just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. And so that's exactly what I've done here. You guys can see this is in 3 weeks. This is in 3 weeks. Made 256 here, 568 here, 728, 545, 653, 406, 400, 366. There's a lot more details. It's not that easy like I'm putting it now, but I'm just trying to inspire y'all to want to do this because I believe anybody can do it. But you got to be smart, conservative. Take my course. It's free. It's on YouTube. And I'm going to break down to you how you can make this work for yourself. But we're going to start from the foundation to the top. And you guys know me. No matter what, I'm going to tell you, focus on the main thing first. That is the most important thing. You can't make money from stocks putting $100 a week in. That's for people who want to retire when they're 70,000 years old. No offense. No offense. You're not going to get, I don't care if you put 10 grand into cryptocurrency and it 100x's. Congratulations. After taxes, congratulations. You're not going to be able to keep that money. You're going to burn through it because you haven't developed this. Bro, I'm so sorry, guys. I have not even been paying attention to the chat. Hey, man, shout out to you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Man, there's 52 in the chat, man. Stop playing. Appreciate you, Murray. Hey, Christopher Love. What's up, brother? I'm learning my barbershop is only profitable because I'm putting more on my side of the blueprint. Man, what? Easy? Man, you're tripping. We got to talk. We got to talk. What's up, Osio? How do you feel about real estate versus stocks? You do both, but right now I like stocks. Right now I like stocks, but I do both. Yo, Chris, I bought a full shavers. Are they easy to use? Yeah. No, I use for the face as well. And for tapers, I use it for tapers to get that really nice tight, and that gradients. Amazing. Yeah, yep. If you take an option to sell, you aren't putting the money up front, are you? If you take an option to sell, you aren't. Yeah, you have to have collateral. You're not putting it up front. You still have the money, but you got to have the collateral. So, you could have $20,000 in VOO in your account, and then they'll give you margin, and then you could just use margin to buy your options. But if you get a margin call, you got to either sell your shares and liquidate, or you got to deposit more money. That's why I always recommend people Don't invest to build an income or to get wealthy, bro. Get wealthy from the main thing. It's just going to take you longer with the main thing. So we're using the 60-year plan, the retire when you're 70,000. We're using that strategy as the worst case scenario. Like we got hooked on drugs, something catastrophic happened, something horrible, right? And anything can happen, guys. You never know. This is why I tell people start off with life insurance, because the first thing is there's shit that's out of your hands. Get hit by a bus tomorrow. But you could get in a car accident, get prescribed a medicine, and then have a disease of addiction. Like you never know. And so you got to have a plan that no matter what happens in your life, you could mess up and you're going to be solid. That's why we max out the 401ks. That's why we do, we do the simple shit first, right? We make sure our careers are high income. I want y'all to get booked. I want y'all to be busy. I want your business thriving. If you're not doing that, then it's, I would focus on that first. What website do you use to trade for NASDAQ? I use Fidelity. How to Speak Money is a good book to understand money terminology. What's up? Thank you for sharing that. What clippers do you recommend for people trying to get into cutting hair? I'm really Babyliss just came out with some new clippers, the Low Pros. They're like mini versions of them. I forget the exact name of them, but they feel so nice in the hand, bro. And I think they're only 100 something bucks. They're cheap. Get the trimmer and the clipper, and you straight. Hey, boss, you just joined, but I thought the tips being tax-free. Is there any cons to that? I didn't read more in depth into it. Are there any cons to the tax? No. But you have to make sure that you separate the two. So, I'm sure Cash App is going to add some type of tipping thing now that this bill has passed. I believe Venmo, if you turn on business mode, will allow you to take tips as well. But we use Square at my shops, and Square has the tip window. You just want to be able to see tips separate from revenue, because if it's all combined together like Cash App does, how can you claim something was tips? You get audited, you're screwed, right? So you got to make sure that whatever ways you're taking payment, that it separates it accounting wise. I have this 245 Bayless, the Lithium FX, and JR. All of them are amazing. But if you're just trying to keep it simple, grab some JRLs. Cool. All right. Let's get back to it. So, yeah, we were listening to Trump, and I went on a crazy rant.
For the last couple of days, being at West Point yesterday was incredible. What incredible people they are. And I think it was a very big success, and it was an honor to be there. Very importantly, we had some very good talks with Iran yesterday and today, and let's see what happens. But I think we could have some good news on the Iran front. Likewise with Hamas on Gaza. We want to see if we can stop that. And Israel, we've been talking to them, and we want to see if we can stop that whole situation as quickly as possible. But having to do with...
Hey, I called him out on not mentioning or talking about Palestine as much. He's been really quiet about it. So that's good. But I would like to... He needs to criticize Israel, though. He never criticizes them. Unless he's just negotiating differently with them. How to win friends and influence people, right? Everybody... You can't talk to everybody the same to get ultimately what people want. Peace.
Nuclear, we've had some very, very good talks with Iran, and I don't know if I'll be telling you anything good or bad over the next 2 days, but I have a feeling I might be telling you something good. We've had some real progress, serious progress On any other front, I don't know. Do you have any questions?
Do you have a message for the Senate? A lot of Republicans have said there are going to be significant changes to the budget bill.
Well, I want the Senate and the senators to change, to make the changes they want, and we'll go back to the House and we'll see if we can get them. In some cases, those changes maybe are something I'd agree with, to be honest. It happens. But we've had a very good response from the Senate, and I don't know how Democrats can't vote for it. If they don't vote for it, they're talking about a 68% tax increase. Remember that. If the Democrats don't vote, it's a 68% tax increase, which is ridiculous. And one of the things that's being covered indirectly is the fact that we'll be lowering the cost of drugs from 50 to 85% under Trump. And it's going to have indirectly something to do, not directly, but indirectly something to do with the bill, the one big, beautiful bill. And it is a big, beautiful bill. And so I think the Senate is going to get there. I hope they're going to get there. I think they're going to have changes.
I wish he would be more. I love that he's always talking in front of the media. Always. That's something that we didn't get from the Biden administration. This dude's on the news every day. All right. I just wish we would see a little bit more transparency. Like the point he just made. Not directly, indirectly, that's passing this bill is how we're going to get the next bill passed, right? And I think the example he used was, what was it?
Progress, serious progress. On any other front, I don't know. Do you have any questions?
Do you have a message for Bill?
Well, I want the Senate and the senators to change, to make the changes they want, and we'll go back to the House and we'll see if we can get them. In some cases, those changes maybe are something I'd agree with, to be honest. It happens. But we've had a very good response from the Senate, and I don't know how Democrats can't vote for it. If they don't vote for it, they're talking about a 68% tax increase, which is ridiculous. And one of the things that's being covered indirectly is the fact that we'll be lowering the cost of drugs from 50 to 85%.
Yeah. I feel like he's holding something. Why? Because maybe he has a legitimate reason. And the next thing he says is, I'm not, I can't go into the details, but they know. Tell the American people. What's the details? Why do you say that it affects it indirectly? Because cynics will think real quick, and I had to catch myself right away. I'm thinking, bro, you holding these people hostage with something that is bipartisan. You holding them hostage to do something. What is it? What's the thing that affects this indirectly? Because if it was a no-brainer, why not share it?
Percent under Trump. And it's going to have indirectly something to do, not directly, but indirectly something to do with the bill.
And this is part of the reason why I know, I feel like I got a good sense of his behavior patterns, but shit like this is a curveball. It's a curveball. Unless I'm missing something, chat. Maybe you guys are hearing something that I'm missing.
The one big, beautiful bill, and it is a big, beautiful bill. And so I think the Senate is going to get there. I hope they're going to get there. I think they're going to have changes. Some will be minor and some will be, fairly significant. But we've been working with the House all the way up. They've been working together. And the Speaker has been working with the leader of the Senate. And, they've done a great job. John Thune and Mike Johnson have done a fantastic job. They've been working together all.
He's going to talk about Putin in a little bit, but I do want to ask you guys this. If this bill passes, what's your game plan? How do you think that affects the stock market? How do you think that affects business in general, the economy? Because this is going to affect your jobs. This is going to affect your business. This is going to affect your clients. What do you think is going to happen if this bill passes? And if it doesn't pass, what do you think happens? Stock markets come crashing down. What happens to interest rates? What happens to there's a lot you have to kind of map out, you know. Let's see. Maybe we can chat GPT this. This will be interesting. In the meantime, I'm going to let it play. Babe, can you give me my Dr. Pepper over there? That's it right there. Oh, shit.
She just called me, as you know, and she asked for an extension on the June 1st date. And she said she wants to get down to serious negotiation because I've told you specifically, haven't I told anybody that would listen? They have to do that. And we had a very nice call, and I agreed to move it. I believe June 9th would be, July 9th would be the date. That was the date she requested. Could we move it from June 1st to July 9th? And I agreed to do that. And that she said we will rapidly get together and see if we can work something out.
Another question. You announced on Friday about U.S. Steel and Nippon Steel.
Yeah.
What will the ownership structure look like? What made you satisfied about
It'll be controlled by the United States. Otherwise, I wouldn't make the deal. I went to the unions, to all of the local unions. They all wanted it. And I'm doing it because all of the congressmen came in, about 5 of them. And the others, I understand, are in concurrence. And they asked that I do it. Everybody seems to want it. And we'll see. I mean, you know, we'll see what the final is. But they're going to invest millions of dollars in steel. And it's a good company. Nissan's a very good company.
Can I point something out? Like, this is just my perspective, but this man is working a lot. He's 78 years old. This dude is in another country. He's in a press conference. He's on the news every day, doing something every day. Even his holidays are televised. Bro, at 78, you hate him or love him, this dude works. His work ethic is undeniable. Holy smokes.
But we'll see. But it's an investment and it's a partial ownership, but it'll be controlled by the USA.
President Trump on Saudi Arabia? You came back with a lot of investments. There's an American who's stuck there and facing a trial for tweets. His family want you to intervene and ask the Crown Prince to let him go. What do you think about that?
I haven't heard about it at all. If you give me the information on the plane, are you on the plane? Give me the information. I'll see what I can do. Do you think he's okay?
He's taking them on the
Are
plane.
you giving a recommendation?
No, I'm not. Okay.
Well, then maybe.
He's taking the reporters on the plane with him. The transparency. This is why he's always in front of the news. They're interviewing him on his flights. Most people just want to sit back and relax on their flights. Bro, this is insane work ethic. I don't give a damn if you hate him or not, bro.
Maybe I won't do it. I don't know. You tell me the way you posed the question. I thought you assumed he was okay. What
Imagine
did he do,
Biden.
supposedly?
He sent some political tweets
I've never seen a
about
president.
Saudi Arabian politics.
Were they bad?
He said he approved of naming a street, renaming a street
George
in D.C. It was fairly innocent stuff by American
Obama?
standards.
Let me take a look.
Can you provide us an update on Russia and Ukraine as well?
Yeah, I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay?
So what's up? What are we
We're in the
doing?
middle of talking, and he's shooting
We're gonna send that. We're gonna send that drone plane, that jet we was looking at yesterday. We sending that thing over there because they was talking crazy with their little, what was it? No, I'm just kidding. I love Russia, love Moscow. I'm just playing. And that's not even funny. It's not even a joke. I don't like the war thing. That's just AU basketball coach locker room talk. All right, fellas.
Rockets
Don't
into
clip
Kiev
that.
and other cities. I don't like it at all.
President, what do you want to do about
And
that?
I'm surprised.
Nah, I have friends in Russia. I have friends in Moscow. They used to come here and visit me. Like, there's amazing. I separate the people from the government, from the individuals. The individual doesn't represent the whole, the citizens and stuff. And even if it did, like, they have their perspective, they have their reasons, and I'm telling you, you sit in a room with either side, they'll convince you they're both right. And to me, it's like a lot of times the war shit sucks, bro. It shouldn't even be happening because most of this shit could be handled with real common sense conversations, with coming to the table before all this craziness happens. Some type of compromise, People be playing poker with people's lives sometimes. And you can't get bullied, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I think with all the allies that Ukraine had, and I just feel like all this shit could have been handled differently. I hate to see what happened. I got barbers that are friends that, barber friends in Ukraine, in Moscow. I got guys who were followers, subscribers for many years, bro. Used to email me from Ukraine or from Russia. I hate to see it, bro. And you talk to either side, they're the same people, bro. They're the same people. Shit is crazy, bro. Anyways, not to get too deep.
I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do. What am I going to tell you? You're the fake news, aren't you? You're totally
shit.
fake. All right, any other questions? I don't
God
like what
damn.
Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like.
Hey, a serious question. How do y'all feel about how hard he goes on the media? Do you look, I agree with him. I don't like the news these days. The news, there's a reason why there's websites that exist for biases, right? But it's gotten out of control. Some of this shit should be illegal, and it happens on both sides. But he's got a point. But it also makes him look bad, I feel like. What y'all think?
Like it.
Do y'all like that? That he's
A
up front
Russian
like that?
commander reportedly said that Putin was almost caught in the middle of a drone attack from Ukraine. So do you have any?
I haven't heard that, but maybe that would be a reason. I don't know, but I have not heard that.
President Trump, Secretary Hegseth's acting chief of staff is a Biden administration holdover who has said some very critical things about you and Vice President Vance. Did your thoughts on that?
Who is the chief of staff?
Ricky Faria.
I have no idea who he is, but if he did say that, I would recommend that we don't take him. I mean, if he did say something like that, I would recommend we don't take him. But let's see. I'll take a look. Korea, I'll check it out. Yeah.
On Harvard, do you think
Your word is your bond with Trump, boy. All right, he spoke on Putin. That's all I want to hear. Next thing I wanted to look at is what they talking about with Nvidia. We've been talking about Nvidia and how earnings is coming. There's gonna be people who make a lot of money. There's gonna be people who lose a lot of money here. But let's get an idea of what analysts are saying Nvidia is going to. Let's check it out.
On Wednesday, options traders tracked by Bloomberg predicting the stock will likely gain or
was
lose
good.
as much as 7.4% the following day. That would be a lower level of volatility than what we've seen the last 8 quarters, with an average swing of over 11%. Joining us now, we've got Sean McLaughlin. He is All-Star Chart's chief options strategist. Sean, great to speak with you. I know you've sent over in your notes that if you were trading Nvidia right now, you'd be positioning for a neutral to positive earnings reaction. Talk to me about why that's your base case.
So what I tend to see happen when earnings events happen is that if there is a surprise move in the market, that surprise move tends to happen in the direction of the underlying trend. And there's no denying that the underlying trend in Nvidia and all of the quantum stocks has been up, coming off the Liberation Day lows. And so if there is any surprise, I think that NVIDIA is going to be higher. I'm not necessarily predicting that we will have a huge pop higher, but I think if there is one to happen, odds are it will be higher. I think more likely NVIDIA is going to have maybe a little a muted response, a little underwhelming response to the market or to expectations, and therefore, as an options trader, I want to play this earnings event with an option spread that pays me whether the stock goes up, the stock goes sideways.
Sell
Really,
puts.
I just don't want it to go down very big. That's the way I'm playing it.
Sean, can you operationalize that for
I'm already in positions. I can't do anything right now, but it sounds like selling puts because a lot of this shit is already priced in with NVIDIA. People are expecting amazing earnings. It's all people have been talking about. And so a lot of it tomorrow, that shit's going to get priced in. That's what I'm thinking. And it could go crazy in the morning where you don't want to get in and then drop a little bit, but it's going to be a new high for sure. And so you might not want to get in right away. Might want to wait till it comes down some, stabilize, or if you can get in quick, get in quick. I don't freaking know. I'm not a timing person. I just think that this is what's going to happen. And I'm not going to play either one of those sides. Okay? But what I think is going to happen is it's going to come up a bunch and then it's going to come back down. It's going to stabilize. But so that's what can happen. But what could also happen is it just comes out flat. Because all of this excitement's already priced in and the earnings wasn't way higher than we know it's going to be higher. We know it's going to beat earnings, but it might just barely beat it or beat it by what we expected it to beat it by based on the demand, right? People buying it, or it might be flat. So if it goes flat, it's going to come crashing down because we expect it to beat earnings. But how much of it crashing down? Is it, let's say the stock is $100 for easy math. Do we think if it literally just meets earnings, right? Just meets earnings, do we think it's going to go down to $80? Maybe. And so if I can get a strike price and get paid $1,000 for selling a put that as long as it don't go down 1,000, I don't have to buy the shares, but I collect 1,000 no matter what. As long as it don't go down 80, I don't have to buy it. But if I can buy NVIDIA at $80 and it met earnings, it's a great company. I'll take it at $80. That means I got it at fair value. And then I'll sell covered calls. That's a whole nother lesson. But just believe me when I say there's a way out. And if you want to learn that way out, you can learn it through that free course I keep telling y'all to go check out on my YouTube channel. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so literally just go to my YouTube, just look up Basio stock course and you'll see part 1, you'll see part 2, or you'll see it in snippets. Number 1, because I live streamed it and then I cut it up in bite-sized portions for y'all. Number 2, go check that out. You'll learn everything that I'm talking about right now, and we'll get you in position to make money. But the main thing is the main thing. Whatever your job is, whatever your business is, you know, obviously mine is barbering, barbershops, barber products, barber stuff, and investing, right? But yeah, this stuff, I mean, oh man, it gets real fun, and it almost feels like fantasy football, fantasy basketball. All right, let's keep watching this NVIDIA thing.
For me and for our options traders listening, what exactly is your approach to that?
Sure. So I'm going to utilize an in-the-money call spread, a vertical spread that it consists of an in-the-money option or in-the-money call and an short and an at-the-money call. So what I'm doing is I'm leveraging the fact that there's a lot of premium at the at-the-money strike. So looking at NVIDIA right now, it's trading at 130, in the neighborhood of 130. So I want to be short the 130 strike, but I want to buy the 120 strike. So there's $10 wide difference between those strikes. And I want to position in the options that expire next Friday. That's May 30th. That's the soonest expiration following earnings. And because I'm getting a lot of premium to sell that 130 strike right now, if Nvidia were to absolutely crash, I don't think it will, but it could, right? It could happen. Well, playing this event with an option spread, I will be better protected versus, say, a normal stock trader. If I'm long Nvidia stock and the stock gap's down to, let's say, 110 or 120 following earnings, I'm going to lose a lot more money had I been positioned in stock versus the options because of the.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Yesterday, I'm watching this is off topic a little bit, but it's an analogy. I'm building up an analogy. So, yeah, did y'all watch the Knicks game? Knicks Indiana game? Bro, I'm watching this game and I'm like, yo, the Knicks getting their ass whooped right now. I can't believe this. You know, I'm rooting for the Knicks. I want to see the Knicks get one. I was born in New York. I'm trying to see them get one. And they got their ass whooped 2 times in a row in Madison Square Garden, bro. And it was live in there. And the way they lost both games was crazy, right? Or not the first game especially. But then, stop, Penny. My dog keeps barking. I'm sorry, guys. But then, this third game, I'm like, yo, the Knicks are down 20 points. Oh shit, they're down 14. Oh shit, they're down 12. Oh snap, they down 9. Bro, as soon as that happened, I put $100 bet on the Knicks, and I was gonna be able to win $340. And I just felt the momentum. It just felt right. Like, there's no way. There was no, those are those things that you don't really know is gonna happen. But that's why I like 30-day expiration dates, because it gives me the opportunity to play the game when I see that momentum happening, or I see it's in my favor. You just don't want to get in too late, right? So with Nvidia, it can come crashing down, but the odds are so unlikely. And the point is, you don't want to put all your eggs in that basket. But worst case scenario, if you get Nvidia, you're still in good shape. There's a way out of it, okay? But the likeliness of Nvidia going crashing down when you hear all this buzz happening, it's slim to none, but anything's possible. Just like the Knicks coming back and winning that game. But I'll also be able to adjust and place that $100 bet to make $340. I'll be able to do that when I see momentums or fundamentals change. It's weird how you can explain that, but that's how it is with stocks, bro. And it feels like that. Except you have more time to make a choice. With basketball, it's like it's a 5-minute window. It's literally day trading. But with stocks, the way that I do it, it's like you got a couple days to realize it, right? So just tap in with me, and we'll keep y'all updated. All right, let's keep watching. Oops.
Because of the fact that I'm selling premium at the money strike, which really gives me a lot of cushion.
Nvidia's stock has risen more than 20% this month, and the chip giant's Q1 results are less than a week away. With the majority of Nvidia's large tech competitors using the company's own processors for their AI initiatives, the recovery has exceeded the overall indexes and led the Mag 7. The combined spending of Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft, and Meta platforms is projected to exceed $300 billion in 2025, with over $500 billion in corporate investment in AI anticipated in the United States alone. Nevertheless, with Nvidia scheduled to disclose its Q1 report.
What is this? This is not what we was watching. Is it? Yeah.
Overall indexes and led the.
But I want to buy the.
All right, we're done. I don't need to watch the AI or whatever, but we get the gist of it. I think Nvidia is gonna be straight, but I'm gonna wait for it to open. You might want to sell puts on it right now if you have conviction that it's gonna be earnings, that it's gonna go up, or it's gonna be flat. But if you don't have conviction it's gonna be flat or be earnings, then I would wait till like afternoon time to look at it and maybe get in then. But you don't have to if you understand indicators, right? Let's take a look at it right now. Let me go to Trading View real quick. If you understand charts, you might be able to use, if you got the time to do it, you could dig deeper and get more conviction when's a good entry. You know, like you could wake up in the morning and look at the RSIs, look at Bollinger Bands, look at different indicators, but also look at IV, look at volume. You can look at volume profiles indicators. Like there's a lot of different ways to get more convictions and build up your odds. It's not 100%, but if you know gambling, you know, like imagine if your odds were 80%. You're gonna lose some. But if you manage your bankroll long enough, in the long run, you're gonna be profitable for sure. We have the data to prove it, right? All right, let me log into this. All right, so let's look at NVIDIA. I haven't even looked at what's going on over here. Cool. Sheesh. All right, so we don't really know what's going on till tomorrow, right? But you see earnings is here. It was already close to overbought, but you guys can see it crossed over to overbought and then it came and went bearish. Same thing with this Bollinger, but it closed with green, so it might come back up because volume is here. There's a lot of volume here, and look at that spread between the Bollinger Band and that. So it might skyrocket because news came right on time. We don't know. I don't really have more conviction from this chart, to be honest with you. Sometimes it's in your face conviction. Sometimes we won't know till tomorrow morning. And so something like this, bro, I might have to wait, man. I don't need to have perfect timing when I'm doing 30-day windows. If you're day trading, you need to. But when you're doing 30-day windows, you got time, bro. You got a couple days. There's no rush. All right? Hopefully that helps you guys. What investment vehicle would you recommend to learn first, stocks or real estate? I would learn real estate through purchasing your own home. You know, like go through that journey. And I would treat it like an investment, right? Like you plan on living in it for 2 years. So you want to know, you know, what you're going to do with it after 2 years. What are your options? You know, what's the plan? What are you trying to get to? And so you might have to learn mortgages, interest rates, how to get approved. You might have to then learn, you know, what's a smart buy? What's a stupid buy? You might get so interested in it that you start learning, you know, demographic studies. You start looking at value add, and you start looking at charts and shit. You just get real into it. Then you should do as much as you want to, as you like to, because it's fun. If it's fun, fucking do it. Who cares if it takes you 10 years to keep learning it and you don't touch stocks? I've been in and out of the stock market for a decade. I've never committed to it. I own millions and millions of dollars of real estate, and I don't own $1 million in stocks. I own millions in businesses and small businesses, but it's now that I'm really getting into stocks because I'm ready for it. I know how to read financials because I own businesses. I had to look at P&Ls. I had to look at financial statements. We started an accounting firm. I had to learn this stuff, right? And part of learning it, I was looking at stocks, at companies, at public companies. You know, you kind of got to, it's like, there's a reason why the average age of people that are investing versus day trading. Day traders are usually younger. Investors are usually older. They're long money. You know, they're real money. All right. With that being said, I think I'm done for tonight, man. I'm gonna go to bed. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys, for the hour or so. Basio Live is the channel that I go live on. If you have not been able to catch them, you know, it's been 3 days, but every day I was streaming on this channel. So if you go to Basio Live, you'll catch all my live streams. And then on my regular channel, if I could find it, let me see. Yeah, right here. This is where I'll clip those live streams and just make videos. You know what I'm saying? So if you miss the live streams, you don't like long form content, you don't like this type of content, you don't want to be in the chat, you don't want to hang out with your boy, you know what I'm saying? That's fine. You can check out these clips, you know, and they're bite size and they're organized. So, you know, if you want to keep up, if you go through that course, that free course, and you like that type of investing, bro, you know, if you're the type of person who wants to make their money work for them, earn passive income, like real passive income. I'm not talking about, I own millions in real estate. I know real estate is not passive like that. It is work. Real estate is real work. It's still work there. It still has its place. But if you prefer cash flow, man, stocks give you better cash flow, more cash flow. If you know how to sell puts, you're going to make cash flow. If you know about dividends, you can make real cash flow, real passive income. If you know about treasury bonds, right now they're paying 4.5% for 30 years, for 20 years, for whatever the year you can the amount you can lock it in for. Now, there's pros and cons to that. There's a risk there. But the risk is that the bond's not worth what it is if you want to get out of it. But if you're okay with 4.5% for 10 years, cool. Now, the pro is that the bond could be worth way more. So right now it's at 4.5%. What's the likeliness that 4.5%? 4.5% is the most it's been in a long time. For the last freaking, I don't know how many years, if you could have had 4.5%, you would have paid more for that bond. And that's the other side of it, right? So there's times where bonds make sense. There's times where real estate makes sense. There's 2008, 2009, 2000, all the way to 2013. Great time to buy real estate. You'd be a multimillionaire right now. If you just bought one or two properties, you'd be a multimillionaire right now. If you would have just bought 2 regular homes back then, right? So you gotta be invested in personal development. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to continuously grow. I've been doing this for a long time. And I don't know everything, but I'm constantly learning. And I can tell you that statistically, people can talk all the shit they want to in chats, in comment sections. But I know statistically, I'm in the top 1% of income earners. And so the likeliness of you, because I get so many comments where people say, you just a barber, shut the hell up. You know what you're talking about. You're dumb. This guy's an idiot. And it's like, all right, I'll be that. But chances are you're not in my shoes and I wouldn't trade places with you. I probably know enough to get where I'm at today. I wouldn't trade places with you. So if I'm dumb, man, this is possible for anyone. And I ain't the smartest tool in the box, bro. I made the paper for having a 1.7 GPA in high school. The Tampa Bay Times. Because I was an athlete that lost a bunch of scholarships because of my grades. But I turned it around and I made something of myself. I got a scholarship. I ended up going to night classes. Bro, I had to retake. I was a senior in high school and I was taking freshman classes, bro. I was taking night classes, all kinds of shit, bro. And ended up getting like a 2.5 GPA, and one school still gave me a shot. It wasn't any Division I or Division II. It was an NAI school. But he gave me, between my academic and my athletic, gave me a full scholarship. And I could have went Division II, but they weren't giving full scholarships. Only 50%. And my grades were definitely not there. But somehow I still got an academic and athletic. Shout out, man. God was good. Shout out to them. And I just think it's past the statute of limitations, so I think I'm good. What I respect the most about you is that you also stayed rich as a person. Thank you, AJ. Appreciate that. That means a lot. All right, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow, man. I'll be live in the morning, so pull up, hang out with me. I'll probably put a notification in Discord too. So should have been. Yo, that meme is hilarious. That meme is the funniest. Good night, guys.